My name is Weng, and I sit on the Airport Services Association board as the Asia Pacific rep. And at the moment, I'm working with independent ground handler, Post Aviation, based in Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur.
What has been the biggest impact of COVID-19 for your organization this year?
Well, I think the biggest impact is definitely the loss of revenue. Yeah, and we have 5 business streams: ground handling, cargo handling, in-flight catering, aircraft maintenance and engineering, and e-commerce. And definitely 3 of the 5 business streams for ground handling, cargo handling, and in-flight catering, we've lost about 75% of revenue in a matter of 2 weeks, and it has only recovered maybe about 10% to date.
And what challenges and opportunities have you faced?
I think this is something no one could have anticipated. It's something definitely no one could forecast the impact it has had and the rapid speed which it came in. For us, I think I like to categorize in 4 areas. One is the human factor. I think in any pandemic, you can have all the SOPs, all the BCPs in place, but end of the day, it's the human that makes the decision, and how quick decisions that the leaders of the organization make, that is very important. On the other hand, we had to make sure that our team members were all safe from this COVID. No one really knew how it behaved, so we had to make sure that all our staff at the front line were protected from this pandemic, because we were handling flights and people coming back infected. And I think at the end of the day, the other part of it is that the business has dropped off. Revenue is 75% off what we expected. Definitely, we have a lot less business. So how do we keep our people occupied? How do we keep the people's jobs secure? And at the same time, how do we retain the talents? So there came opportunities where we could do some upskilling. Some of our check-in agents have been trained and retrained on robotic process automation. So we are on that journey of upskilling them so they can be deployed to other areas. And of course, we had cargo e-commerce, which enjoyed a bit of a growth during this period as people stopped buying physically and they went online. So the business growth in that area required more people, so we redeployed some of the staff there. The other part of it is what we learned definitely is that all organizations need to be very agile, and we are quite lucky. We are a asset-light company. We managed to resize our operations and bring the cost down immediately and manage the cash flow, and that's very important. Because at the end of the day, there's always this saying that we need cash to run the company. Opportunities, surprisingly, the keyword is now collaboration. Even with our competitors on the ground, where we used to talk very little, now everyone talks about collaboration. How can we work together to make things better? Because we can then bring down the scale of the cost impact to the organization. And at the end of the day, it also gives an opportunity to reset, to redo what we have been doing for last, say, 20 years. Now to relook, because there's no business activity. So we relook at our processes to see whether we can bring more cost efficiencies in. And we had to accelerate our digital transformation program, which we were doing, but we were forced to accelerate it. And now we have put in certain processes to be automated through the RPA. So where a report used to take 2 hours, now take 20 minutes, since the system does it by itself. And we have reorganized ourselves. We have set up a business intelligence unit with data warehousing, with data analytics, because at the end of the day, that supports the decision making, which I said in the earlier part, where humans need to make the quick, decisive decisions.
What is your take on the recovery of the industry?
I think the most optimistic view would be 2023. It might move to 2024. As you know, in Europe, now you have your second wave when you come to your autumn and winter, and the spikes is quite horrendous. In Asia, right now, even in Kuala Lumpur, we are on a semi-lockdown because of our second and third waves, which have come. But I think it's the new norm that people need to adjust to learn how to live with the virus until the vaccine comes out, and we don't expect it, to me, until end of next year, 2021. And we hope to see that at least 60% of the volume of pre-COVID will return by the end of 2021. And with that, we hope that with the vaccine, then we'll move towards a full recovery by 2024.
What is your future outlook for 2021 and beyond?
I think what the pandemic has done is really changed the way the industry will behave, and definitely going forward, organizations will have to what we call future-proof themselves, and this forced a lot of organizations to rethink how they are structured, go towards the balance between whether you outsource or you in-house handle, whether you want to be agile. And at the end of the day, I think there's no plan that could have been put in place to counter the effects of the pandemic. So we have to learn now that end of the day, before the next pandemic, touch wood that doesn't happen, but we need to be future proofed. And at the end of the day, the business has changed forever. In-flight catering, I think, will be impacted. Airlines will move from those very exquisite meals to very simplistic meals where it doesn't need the cabin crew to serve you. Probably it's very box meals with a lot of disposable equipment. And even on ground handling, I think we'll definitely accelerate the process towards what probably Europe is already done in many airports, where everything is self-service, all dealing with machines. There are no human interfaces except for certain key areas. So I think this has forced the whole industry to relook at how they do business. And it's, I guess, an opportunity, even though it's a pandemic, but it presents great opportunities for those companies who are agile and able to change quickly to adapt to new norms after 2021.
Is there anything that you would like to add?
I think maybe the last point here is, I think Airport Services Association represents the independent handlers around the world. And I think the regulators, the airport authorities, and the ground handlers, the whole ecosystem in the ground handling industry needs to work together, collaborate more in working towards a more sustainable business model. As you know, airport authorities and governments regulations sometimes do not favor the ground handlers, but I think in such crisis, it has revealed that at the end of the day, if there's cash is king, then collaboration is queen. So we need to work together to make the industry better, with better standards and better coordination between all parties.